Right, well viewers, here we are again in another car, Martin.
Well, look at it. I mean, today we're in. I'll let you tell the viewers what we're in today, but
yeah, okay, I think it's appropriate. Something again very different for you on Overdrive. We are in a Vauxhall Frontera, no less. A bit unusual.
It's very different. And as I was told, we were going to be filming this car, and basically when I turned up, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the condition of this car.
It is very nice. It is Vauxhall Frontera. It's also my dad's Vauxhall Frontera that he has had for the best part of 13 years now.
13 years, isn't it?
Indeed. The car itself is 17 years old, so do the math. Now, I think as you'll see in the rest of the video, it's in absolute remarkable condition. To see a Frontera in this condition these days is amazing.
It is, isn't it?
They're a rare car anyway now, and to see one in this condition is
well, yeah, because I think a great deal of them wouldn't have been, let's say, looked after, would they? And that's the
thing.
They
were used for what they were designed for, weren't they?
Yeah, and we'd have lost a lot. So to see one in this condition is very rare and pleasant to see, actually, like this.
It is. The thing that makes it more remarkable as well is for each one of those 13 years, unbelievably, this has actually been my dad's work vehicle.
This is hard to believe, this, but
from day one, from the day he got it, this has been his work vehicle. The simple reason for that is, although he has tried other things, vans and pickup trucks and that over the years, this is the best vehicle for the job, for him at least. It just does the job the best. But anyway, details of the car. It is a 3.2 litre V6 Limited, fitted with a very rare 5-speed manual. The majority of them, of course,
that's the thing, a lot of them would be automatics, yeah.
As was popular, suited the engine very well, but yeah, this is fitted with the manual.
Sounds lovely, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. Still got that nice burble and that, so it really has.
It does tick over very nice. It's got a nice little sound to it, as with all V6s. What that means is that when it was new, it was the top of the range vehicle. A little bit unusual in the spec though, and this is one of the reasons why this car is really unusual now, is because most limited spec Fronteras came with the very popular Diamond package. As Martin is learning a lot about now.
Yes, I am, because I didn't realise at the time there was like a Diamond package, as they call it, and what you actually got with it.
What that was basically a full leather interior. So you see even the door quads there were leather. It also had heated seats in the front, and I think you got a sunroof as well. As you can see, this car, is very weird because it doesn't have that. Notice the seat covers have now been put back on.
Yeah, protecting the seats at the moment.
As it is a work vehicle, of course, they've been popped back on now. But underneath these, it is of course lovely velour seats.
Same as obviously what we've got on the door cards, isn't it?
Same as it is.
Which is very unusual if it's a high-end spec car, but it's not got the high-end spec stuff.
No, you've got a couple of blank switches here where the heated seats would have been. And in a way, I think that the fact it's a top-of-the-range car but without the options kind of makes it even more unique.
It does. You wonder what was happening at Vauxhall when this was coming off the production line. Was it one of the last ever ones that was sort of doing things to as it came off?
This is a Mark II Frontera, so you could say. But in the last couple of years of the car's production life, they facelifted it. So you got the Vauxhall V grill at the front, clear glass headlamps, and all the trim that you see on this car around the arches and stuff that's plastic would have been colour coded. And that happened, I think it's around about late 2001. The fact that this car was registered in 02 again kind of makes that a bit weird. Martin, you touched on there. What was going on at the time when it was new, we don't know. But
something's obviously happened at Vauxhall plant when they were doing it. But do you know what? I think it makes it a really good car, actually. More unique, doesn't it?
The specification in particular makes it very unique. It would have been extremely rare spec when it was brand new. I mean, 17 years later, this is pretty much a unicorn now, isn't it, really?
Yeah. But everything that we can see in the car is all still as factory, isn't it? There's been nothing messed about with altered or even had to be replaced.
Nothing.
It's all what you see is what you get, and it's stood up the test of time as this vehicle. It really has.
I mean, apart from a couple of weeks ago when it's developed a slightly sticky brake, which is actually getting sorted the next day or so, this car, in 17 years, Martin, has never, ever had a component fail.
That is absolutely brilliant. I'll stress for any car, you find me any that can do that distance, because we can get a lot of newer cars which need things replaced.
And I know the Frontera, of course, we're both aware that the Frontera had a bit of a reputation back in the past for being not quite as reliable as it should be. Now, this is very unfair, really, and I'm biased, but the thing is, this was mainly aimed at the early cars back in the early 90s when it was first launched.
Yeah.
And as we know, when manufacturers launch a car, it's pretty common to have teething problems and that kind of
That
thing.
is the only way the iron problems out with further down the line. Every car can have their teething troubles, we know that.
But by the time the Mark II was launched in 98, and there are many reviews on YouTube of that, it was a vastly improved car.
It was, yeah.
The body shell stayed the same. Did you notice this is a long wheelbase model? They do a short wheelbase one, which I think you were taken with in the past, weren't you?
I always want. Now, don't get me wrong. I like this size as well. This one, I did always like this 3-door one. It just appealed to me more. But then when I came and saw this, as this stands like this in this colour and everything, with the plastic mouldings around the wheel arches, it looks so rugged and that. I kind of like this as well.
Yeah.
I am really torn between the pair of them.
Yeah. It's a lovely car, really nice spec and everything. Although, like I said, it has got some very popular options missing, which I do think makes it more unique. We have got all the usual stuff. You got a proper 4-wheel drive system here, low range.
Yeah, we have.
All your stuff you need for off-road. Delco CD,
electronics.
yeah, CD player from brand new from 2002, of course. Your working factory air conditioning and all the bits and pieces. So it's got everything that you need.
This is why I've been stressing before. It is just like a time warp vehicle. This basically, when I saw this, I thought this has been hidden away. This is in such good condition. This has been stored somewhere. I was positive of it.
And then I told him it was his work vehicle.
And he told me it was a work vehicle. I was going to ask, what does he do for his work? Does he transport feathers around or something? Because there was just no evidence of anything.
I think it goes to show, though, how you look after a car.
Yeah, it does show with any vehicle in general. It's how you look after them, and
it is meticulously looked after. We've not even been able to film this car. Well, we wanted to film this car for a long time, and we haven't been able to do it literally because we've been waiting for a good weather day.
We have, and we're glad we have, because it is much easier to film a car like it, but. Again, this is because you didn't want it out in all weathers. Because
you can understand, can't you?
You can. I mean, I'd be exactly the same with a car that's in this condition at this age. I really would.
I mean, the nature of my dad's work means that he doesn't work in bad weather anyway. So it literally only comes out on dry days. It's quite something. As I said, it was a V6 3.2. It's an Izuzu V6.
I always find that strange when you say it's an Izuzu V6 as well. You don't really expect that in a Vauxhall.
Pumping out, when it new, I presume it's still doing this, around about 210 brake horsepower. Total figures I'm not sure of. I'm not going to mention that because I'm not quite sure. Very popular option was the front A bar, the style bar, with 2 spotlights. And colour coded to the car, and it went over the front grille. This car is lacking that. And me and Martin both agree. We think it looks a lot cleaner without.
We really prefer the look of it as it is like this. I think the A-bar sort of hid a lot of features, but also made it look a bit nose heavy. As you refer to, the spotlights were massive like dinner plates, and I just think
a bit over the top maybe.
Took the look away from it. It's not a vehicle that sort of needed something like that, I don't think.
No.
This is a much better, cleaner look. You see all the shape and the design of the front without that, and we do agree it's a much nicer look.
And as we mentioned on the outside of the car, this is aged pretty well, this car, and I think it's down to the simplicity and of the design itself. It wasn't over styled to start with.
No, it wasn't, but it was a good style. I always thought this Frontera, both in this size and the 3-door, was a really good style. It was.
And yes, it's, in my opinion, and Martin's, I know it certainly stood the test of time. It's one of them cars where the boxy styling that was fashionable at the time went out of fashion and is now
come back in. It's a styling that's worked, hasn't it? And it's proved it.
It has indeed. So Martin, the exterior.
Now we stepped outside because it's baking hot, and we're going to take a look at this exterior.
We're not going to keep long at it because it is hot, isn't it?
It is.
So, exterior of the car, we mentioned the condition. And what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, everybody just look at it. I mean, when I rolled up there, you could have taken that plate off and I would never have said it's a 2002 vehicle. I mean, it's mint, and it's not just the sun that is doing this, believe me. It is mint, is this. And as we pointed out, remember the front, how clean it does look without
this. Yeah, we mentioned the style bar that you used to be able to get that went up like that. With 2 spotlights like dinner plates.
Yeah, which I think takes a lot of the front off it, so I prefer it like that.
It's quite unusual to see one without, like we mentioned, but it does look a lot cleaner, I think, without that.
I think it actually is how the vehicle should be, like that, to be fair.
You're not planning on hitting anything, are you? So it's I think it.
You wouldn't dare of in this, would you?
No. We don't live out in the Australian outback.
But as we said, as we said, look at the paintwork finish and the colour. It's
oyster silver, of course.
oyster silver, as you keep referring to. Yeah, it's a wonderful colour, isn't it?
For a 17-year-old car, I mean.
I can't believe this is 17-year-old. I'm sure they're pulling the wool over me.
I hope it comes across on camera as well as it does in person. But I'll look at it around the car.
Yeah, let's have a look. And everywhere I look, I just
Things like the wheels.
gobsmacked with it.
Original wheels, not refurbished, completely as they are.
Everything's all standard as we see it, isn't it? There's been nothing messed about with in any way. It's all as you see.
And I know you can't see it very well on the camera, but under the sill here, it looks brand new.
Also, look, you know what I'm like for little touches, but look, limited badges on the side. I like little things like that.
All original badges.
Yeah. Everything with your colour-coded handles and all the lot, which we've been very careful with.
They've actually lasted really well. They've actually they're not been too
I think it's all
affected
stood up very fair. We've got us 4x4 badge up here as well, and little reminders just to tell us what to do. But yeah, look how fair the wheels are. Brilliant, aren't they?
Not curved, they're completely as they should be.
Yeah, they're absolutely brilliant.
Although I think you'd have a job curving these with tyres like that.
Well, yeah, true enough, it does save your wheels a bit, but they are in stonking condition of these. I love things like we've got the roof rails and all this on top of it. It just makes it that more rugged look. But one thing I pointed out to you as well, which I always liked about the Frontera, how you get this trim right around the wheel arches.
Yeah. Now, of course, we mentioned on the last run-out limited edition models that were made in the last couple of years of production, this was colour-coded. And
yeah,
I think it looks a lot better as it is.
Do you know, for all it's a bit of a headache to keep it as good as what this condition is, I do prefer it like this.
Yeah.
I think it matches with all the trim and everything, and it just gives it that more rugged look.
Yeah.
It really suits the nature of the car.
And certainly protects the paintwork a bit. You'd rather knock that than.
Well, yeah,
that,
you wouldn't want, but if it came to it, yes, because at the end of the day, this is just plastic and stones underneath and all. Everything's all protected away from your paintwork, isn't it?
Let's have a look at the back.
Let's have a look, yeah. And as we've been saying, the tyre that's in here has never come out.
This, as far as I'm aware, has never even been opened. So, whatever's
Are you sure there's one in there? There might not be one in there.
Yeah.
Someone might have stored a load of cash or something in there. You might open it and find it. Could be anything in there.
But no, same with the rest of the car. The rear of it is stood up just as well as everything else.
And I pointed at these. I spotted these on the lights. They're like little vents, aren't they?
I don't know if they're actually functional.
They're not. Well, we know they're not going to be functional.
No, they're fake, aren't they? But nice.
But when you think about it, for styling's sake, how Vauxhall went to the lengths of doing that.
Yeah.
What a little touch. You know what I'm like about little touches and things. I like that actually. Yeah. I really do.
But no, I think that we mentioned that the styling is nice and they kept it fairly simple, but I think that's helped it age really well.
It has.
It's not aged badly, I don't think.
It's definitely not aged badly.
And the thing is, it's kind of coming back in fashion because this sort of boxy sort of styling is coming back now.
Yeah.
People,
I still think this is a styling that's still standing up. Yeah. It really is, and I think this is what's doing
it. It kind of went out of fashion and is now, as
things do, don't they? The trends come and
fashion,
go, and we have got footage, I believe, of how this tailgate opens, and I really like how it opens. One thing people might spot, it goes that way, a bit like what the EcoSport used to do.
Yeah.
But once you get used to it, I find that actually better.
Yeah.
But I like how that goes up as well.
You just have to be aware when you're in a car park that how much room you need.
Well, in a vehicle like this, you'll have to acquire for space. You've got to think about things like that. But I do like how it's split.
Yeah,
I really like that idea.
It does have a split tailgate, of course. The glass does open up.
Yeah, but we even have, as we pointed out, you've even got the protection strip for the wiper.
Yeah, where it sits on the paintwork.
So it doesn't harm the paintwork.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's still there. After all
there's quite a lot of thought that's actually gone into the car when you.
Do you know? I think there's been more thought gone into this than what people actually realise. Yeah. I think they were more bothered about, let's say, criticising the vehicle at first. But it's here to stand the test of time, isn't it?
It is, and one thing we can't forget, of course, is that this was probably one of the first vehicles that, well, not one of the first vehicles, but fairly early on, in the sort of world car sort of idea that a lot of manufacturers do, because nowadays when manufacturers build a car, they build it to sell all over the world. It has to cater for all markets. This car, well, not so much the Frontera name, but this actual, this sort of vehicle was sold everywhere.
Well, don't you think at first Vauxhall really wanted to tap into the four-wheel drive market?
It was sold in South America, Asia, Europe, America, all under different names, of course.
Yeah. I think it's I have said it a few times on camera and that. It is a time warp car.
It is.
It really is, and I think this one is in absolutely mint condition.
It is pretty remarkable.
It's one of those I can keep having a look at all day. It's really surprised me as this vehicle.
Yeah. Right, well.
So that's the exterior, folks, and like I said, I hope the camera is doing this justice. You'd have to be studying to see how good this car is, but it is a cracking car.
Yeah, we do picking it up as well on the camera, of course.
Yeah.
But what you see is what you get. It's completely original. It's not been restored or.
No, it's certainly not. So when Craig was telling us about this car, he said he's got a Frontera to film, and I turned up and I've seen it. I've been really surprised today, I have. Perfect weather, perfect.
I said it was good. I don't think you realised it was this good.
I did not realise it was this good. I did not, and I've really had, let's say, my eyes opened. My eyes opened on this one. I really have. Yeah, a cracking car, this Frontera.
And something very, I say different for every driver, but we tend to do different things all the time now, don't we?
That's the case, and what more different can you get as this?
Try finding another one, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'll, if anyone wants a comment saying we can find a better spec than this one, go ahead.
Well, that pretty much brings us to the that pretty much brings us to the end of the feature. So, hope you enjoyed it. We've certainly enjoyed filming it, haven't we, Martin?
Oh, we certainly have, yeah, definitely. The perfect weather and the perfect cars for today.
We've been waiting a while to do this car, and one of the reasons is because of the weather. Because he didn't want to take it out in bad weather.
I do not blame him on that, actually.
But we kind of understand. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed it.
We certainly have.
We'll see you next time.
We have reached the frontier with this.